It should be. It should be.
Where do you typically go?
Well, we're going up off of Green Springs up out of Ashland
Okay.
that way.
Hi, Laurel.
Hey.
Good morning.
Okay.
Yep. Still morning for 10 minutes.
You can turn it up. My little ears are. Whoop.
It's interesting when you walk back, Kirk, you disappear into your.
Yeah, the cloud. Yeah.
Look like a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a little bit. But the lighting's not too good anymore.
Yeah.
Still.
Say, Lutz, do you go through the little process with Medicaid each year? Meeting with somebody and they talk to you about different.
I only did it when I moved up here for our. We had to change our prescription plan.
Okay.
And I did. That was it was on the telephone because it was right in the middle of COVID. So
Yeah.
that's all. That's all I've done. I went and compared plans with what I had, and I'm gonna keep the one I have. So
I know that's kind of the easiest way. There's so many little pieces to it. It's like, I don't know which of these is going to be better for me.
yeah. It's I know when I originally got my supplement, fortunately there was a member of our district who that was her specialty, was senior insurance and long-term health care and stuff. So I've got all my stuff through her, and it was really good. So, but unfortunately she's retired and lives in Mexico now.
Yeah.
Are you looking for advice on Medicare? Is that what's?
No, I was just wondering if other people, I usually meet with this woman, once a year, and really I just do whatever she tells me to do because I don't really know which of these things. I can tell her sort of where, give her a little bit of this is important to me, this is not important to me, but I don't know if everybody goes through the whole process of meeting with them, or it's just, no, stay with this, it's worked.
Well, right now I've still got coverage, through Lisa, through District 7, through the school district. And so Medicare is my backup one. I haven't even used Medicare yet.
Okay.
So because of Harry Mackin, I went to, and Art Insurance has been our insurance agents forever, or for a long time anyway. And so I talked to Justin, somebody there now, and like you, I kind of go with what they suggest, but
Yeah.
Regents is our supplemental, and he says it's hard to beat them as far as coverage and being good people to work with and no surprises and that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's cheap.
yeah.
You get a lot of coverage, and the co-pays are going down this year and the premium is not going up. So it's like good reason to
Why
stick with
change?
them.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Kurt.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing real well, real well. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. How's things down in Sebastopol?
A little overcast now, but still not bad.
Yeah. Everybody doing good down there?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
How about up there?
Yeah, fine. In fact, sun's out today. It was overcast this morning, but it's sun's out, looking good now.
Well,
Gonna get
not
cold.
according
Gonna
to
get
your
cold.
background.
What's that?
According to your background, it's
Oh,
storm clouds.
that's on our trip we took after the convention in Hamburg. Some German town on the Rhine or the Maine or something like that. I don't know. There were, it all ran together after 21 days.
Yeah, I know how it does.
Yeah, that was the same trip we were with Lynn Jardy and his wife Sylvia.
Is that my cousin over there? I saw Lenora Rogers.
Yes. A distant cousin.
A distant cousin. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Lenora.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I just lost my Zoom screen, so let's see if I can find it. What happened? There we go. Yay, I did it.
Hey, Steve.
Good
Hi, Steve.
morning.
Morning. Yep, still morning.
Yep. Another 4 minutes.
So, education time. You guys are the official name of your club is Rogue Gateway. Is that correct?
Grow Gateway, then it's parentheses Grants Pass.
Yeah, I saw that on there and that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
And there's another club in Grants Pass, is that correct?
Two others. We have Grants Pass Club and then
Greater Grants Pass.
Greater Grants Pass, yeah, which is the morning club. My daughter was in it for a while until her report wouldn't let her get there. So
Yeah, so this is a change for you. You used to be in the Sunrise Club in
yeah.
1530.
Well, after 25 years in the sunrise, getting up, I decided when I retire, I'm gonna go back to a new.
Yeah, I think I prefer the noontime myself.
Yeah. I didn't mind the morning when I was working, but after I retired, well, yeah. So, yeah, so this is a good club. We've got even with COVID, we I think we took in eight new members or so last year. So good club.
That's great.
Yeah.
How many total members do you guys have?
60, what is it, 60,
66.
67, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good sized club.
I did that email this morning that you asked me to, and that's right. That's what it had, 67 on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good almost noon, everybody.
Good morning.
Don,
Good almost noon.
Welcome, Bob.
Hey.
We're really excited to hear from you.
Hey, Don.
Thank you.
Bye, Kirk.
Hold on, pause.
Kirk, did that apple pass the food handlers?
Safety.
There's my card.
yeah, I
got
was
a whole bunch of
hoping
members.
you have to show him.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to let people know I passed.
Wasn't rocket science.
No.
No, I do not like it. And
You can add it to
California,
your resume, Don.
I
Yeah.
know, my
Yeah.
lengthy resume.
California, you have to take a regular class on it. The local hospital at home and Crescent City gave it, but it was I don't know. You had to take I forgot how many hours or stuff on it, but you had to buy the book and everything else on it. So it was different.
Wow.
Yeah,
There's probably less food poisoning there.
I don't know.
Yeah, aside from the 2 questions about temperature, I think I would have been able to do that test without ever looking at the material.
Yeah. Well, I admit I didn't look at the material.
Not at all.
I didn't either.
I thought you
I
guys,
assumed I could
You got-
probably handle it.
And you got the 2 temperature questions right?
I got half of them. So one right and by just some kind of wild guess.
was it 40 and 140?
So 41
And
degrees.
135.
Yeah, yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are gonna open a restaurant.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna make money for Rotary by opening a little restaurant.
Here you
You're our
go.
first customer.
We may have trouble getting
Way to
it.
go, both for Rotary's opening a restaurant.
And Patty, you get to be the one out there handling the hugs. That was great.
I
Was
had
that
so
was that
much
a
fun.
joke or are you guys serious?
Pardon?
Are you really opening a restaurant?
No.
The
No.
Rotary rotisserie, yeah, it's coming.
But that is good. Yeah, the Rotary rotisserie.
I like that.
And wine shop.
Well, you know what? We've got
Okay.
we got a really full meeting today, so I think I'm gonna have to just
Get
call
us
this
to be
meeting to
quiet.
order and actually start the meeting with our car horn. Okay. That was a good one, actually. That was not bad at all. So I'll mute everyone. Okay, things are going well. Okay, and so Patty, would you like to start us off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let that be true.
Okay, thank you. You bet. John Giovanni, inspiration for our day.
All right, thank you. This comes from Jimmy Dean. His quote is, "I can't change the directions of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." What a great guy.
Yeah, thank you very much. So visiting Rotarians, Bob Rogers, welcome to our meeting today, and you're going to be our program later on. And so appreciate you joining to share your words about Polio Plus. Are there any other guests that, let's see, raise hands that we.
Steve, this is Kirk Kolb. I'm in the Wednesday Rotary group.
Okay, welcome, Kirk. Thanks for doing a makeup and also part of our program today.
Don't forget Judy's here.
No, this is Judy Basker and I'm visiting from the Medford Road Rotary and happy to see all of you.
Welcome, Judy.
Was talking to them.
Oh, I'm Jim Lucier from Bend, Oregon, past district governor.
Hi, Jim. Welcome to our club.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that looks like all of that for right now. Wynn, would you like to do a Rotary Minute with Dr. Frost, please?
Yeah, so first I want to say how grateful I am to the club for the wonderful barbecue for our team this week. That was so awesome. I've had so many positive comments and my heart is just so happy that you all really showed love and gratitude to our team. So thank you for that. And then I'm honored to have Dr. Frost. She's been here many times before. She's amazing, and she was willing to give kind of the update to the group today. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Frost.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. The good news is that our surge that you've seen happen over the past kind of 6 weeks is improving. Our numbers are coming down both in the community and at the hospital. We are still having some capacity issues at the hospital, both due to COVID patients that are kind of still here. And just because with our first COVID surge, kind of the last year and a half, we lost some staff and then we're losing some more staff. And so we foresee for a while that we're going to have some capacity issues in the hospital and most likely not being able to operate 100% in terms of most of our services, but still being able to take care of things that are urgent and emergent and then a handful of elective. In terms of COVID within the community and kind of what to expect, because again, we're in a good place with this surge, and so it feels good and it's easy to be really excited. I think that the realistic news is that we all need to kind of transition into a line of thinking of, instead of when this is over, we're going to get back to some sense of normalcy. We need to kind of transition into, COVID is here. It is always going to be here on some level, and we're probably going to see surges come and go, kind of the way that we saw the Delta variant. And it's difficult to predict when exactly those will come, how frequent they will be, how severe that they will be, but that right now, the best thing that we know for the community is to have a higher vaccination rate. Now, again, the good news is with our latest surge, we did see our vaccination rate within the community jump quite a bit. So we saw, I think, what was a relatively appropriate response. That, people said up front that they were nervous about the vaccine. We hadn't been hit that hard. Let's give it some time. I think that was very legitimate. But now that we've been hit harder and we've seen the vaccines very safe, that I think a lot of people then made the decision to go ahead and get the vaccine, which was great. We can do better. We're still, I think, Wynn might know this better, exactly where we are. Wynn, do you know the exact vaccination rate of the county right now?
I know it's below 60%. I don't know the exact number.
Yeah, so below 60%, which is not as good as most of the rest of the country. So it's better. We went up quite a few percentage points, so it's better. But we're really thinking like we need to be above 75-80% to really protect our community from the severity of the surge that we saw with the Delta variant. So hopefully that will kind of happen over time. I think we may see kind of vaccination rates surge as we see these surges come through. But that's going to be our best protector. When we have these surges, I think we're going to need to do the same thing we did with this one in terms of, masking more, more social distancing. And then between the surges, the hope would be is that we kind of get back to a somewhat sense of normalcy of being able to, go out to eat easier, more safely, and that type of thing. So we're really kind of transitioning from that acute COVID surge feeling into like, this is just the way reality is going to be, which in some ways is obviously disappointing. But in some ways, I think we found that there's these moments of comfortability. And while we've got these, these past few weeks have been very stressful, very difficult on a lot of levels, I think hopefully we'll see those start to get better as we see the vaccination rates hopefully continue to climb over time. So nobody really knows when the next surge would be. My own just predictions based off of kind of what we've seen recently is that we probably won't have a big surge like the Delta variant during the winter, but we will probably have some surge just because people are moving indoors. That's going to be on top of flu season, on top of our already existing capacity issues. And so the winter may be a difficult one, again, kind of similar to last year. Then my hope would be as we get into next spring and we've got, again, a higher vaccination rate kind of going into getting outdoors and stuff like that, that maybe we get into kind of a sweet spot again for a while. And then if we have another significant surge like the Delta variant come at some point in the next 9 to 12 months, that we're a little bit better prepared for it with higher vaccination rates that maybe even at that point might be getting into the high 60s range. So that's kind of my general explanation right now. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Frost.
Yeah.
For all you do. Any questions? We got a full program today, so if any questions you have, you can pop them also in the chat if there's any questions.
Hey Steve, it's Rick. I couldn't find the raise my hand button.
Okay.
I'd like to find out a little bit about long COVID or post COVID-19 condition. And then also they're talking about an orally administered treatment for when you get sick instead of having to necessarily be getting vaccinated and stuff. Can you shed some light on that?
I can give you a little bit of information. I think we're still learning about long COVID. to be honest with you, I mean, obviously COVID is scary and it being life-threatening, but most people survive COVID. I think to me, what is as concerning is long COVID, because we're seeing especially younger, healthier people getting COVID and having symptoms for a very long time, and those symptoms are pretty variable. They can be chronic fatigue, they can be pain, they can be difficulty breathing. So there's a very wide variability in those symptoms. At this point, it's really too early to know if those are going to be chronic, lifelong symptoms, or if there's something that people will be able to recover from over time. But since we really only have about 1.5 years worth of data, we don't know that. And so I think obviously as time goes by, we'll understand that better. If you compare long COVID symptoms to other viral, long viral symptoms, so there's other viral illnesses that also create some long-term chronic symptoms. A lot of those conditions are chronic in nature over a lifetime. And so that would be our concern with COVID as well, is that, gosh, you get COVID and you survive, which is great, but then you have chronic pain or shortness of breath or fatigue that significantly inhibits your life. So, you know, even more reason, I think, to tote the vaccine to those that are still leery, you know, especially our younger generations who are going, gosh, I'm young and healthy, and so I don't have to worry about my life being at risk. You know, it's a 20 or 30-year-old that gets COVID and then has a lifetime worth of symptoms is obviously disappointing as well. So that's long COVID. Sorry, what was your other question? Oh, about the oral medication that Merck just came out with. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of the details of that other than they have come out with this medication. I don't believe it's been FDA approved yet, but it is encouraging that they have done a study that has essentially shown that if people get COVID and they take this oral medication early, that it reduces the severity of the symptoms. And so it would also reduce the likelihood someone would need to be in the hospital. It would also reduce the likelihood of it being life-threatening. What that we can't answer, as well as whether or not it reduces the risk of the long COVID symptoms. You would assume that it does, but again, they don't have long enough term data on that. So hopefully that medication will be approved and out on the market relatively soon, but I don't know the timeline for that at this point.
Thank you. There's a trusted chat. Will we need to vaccinate again next year for COVID-19?
That's a great question. So, you know, the boosters have really just been approved kind of for higher risk individuals. And I think that we're going to see that boosters are probably going to be, it's going to be similar to a flu shot would be my assumption. Right now, the boosters that they are giving are the same vaccine that you initially got. In theory, we may either continue to get that same booster vaccine, or just like the flu mutates, the flu virus mutates and it becomes a new virus essentially every year, which is why the flu vaccine is essentially a new vaccine and you need it every single year. And I foresee that that same thing could happen with COVID, that as new variants come out, they may alter the vaccine slightly. So I think, again, it's difficult to predict because we're too early on in this to really understand what that schedule will be. You know, will it be, right now they're saying, you know, 6 to 9 months after your first set of vaccines is when you're eligible for the booster. So is it going to be every 6 to 9 months? Is it going to be longer? To be honest, again, that data is still very new and there's still quite a bit of controversy over whether or not we really need that booster right now, or you could wait a little bit longer. I think because the Delta variant surge was so significant, it really made us go, well, gosh, if you're having any decreased immunity at the time that they're having a surge, why not go ahead? And they are seeing that people that got the booster have a better immunity against the Delta virus or the Delta variant. So yes, I think you will need continued vaccines with COVID. The exact schedule and whether or not that will be the exact same vaccine or some variant of it to adjust it to the mutations, I think is not known yet.
Thank you. Well, you're definitely one of our healthcare heroes that we were using to celebrate Tuesday at the barbecue. And thank you so much for what you do, and appreciate everything that you're doing to make a difference in our community, our health.
Yeah, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. And it's an honor working with you and for you. And if you ever have any questions that you want to send through Lynn, I'm always happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frost.
Yeah, I just want to share that Dr. Frost, I mean, not only is she an amazing surgeon and just a great human being, but she also worked in the critical care unit taking care of these patients and really, stepped in and doing things to take care of our community. So I'm very grateful for her, and we are blessed to have her in our community. So thank you, Dr. Frost.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I will admit, amongst our healthcare workers, I'm not special. We had everybody step up and work jobs that they aren't normally working, work hours that they're not normally working. And while there was a lot of sadness and frustration, and there were a lot of difficult times, I can say that I was really proud of our staff and our community to really step up and work hard to take care of this community. And so we'll continue to do so.
Thank you. Thanks, Wynn, also for setting this up and all that you do to keep us healthy. Appreciate your information as well as your dedication.
My pleasure.
Okay. And thank you as well to the club members that came out on Tuesday for the barbecue. I mean, we had a great turnout. It was great to see so many faces there in person, in addition to being on Zoom, and everybody came together and appeared to have a great time, and the organization that really panned out. And Doug is not able to be here today, but he wanted to add his thanks as the kind of the organizer for the event. So thank you for everything we did to make that, you did to make that event successful on Tuesday. Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to help a Rotary Minute because Bob Rogers is going to do a better job on a Rotary Minute than I could ever do with a polio update. There is going to be a stand-up board meeting right after our meeting today. A few quick items. I don't think it's going to be long, but they are time-sensitive matters. So that is going there. So if you have questions today of our program, because we actually have kind of maybe 3 different programs combined into one, in the interest of time, go ahead and put them in the chat. And so I'll add that in there. So for anything, questions for our program. So Debbie, would you like to lead us off? Debbie's, of course, our own club member, but also on the school board and has been for many, many years, giving back to the community on the school board for School District 7. And this is kind of, was her vocation, is kind of her vocational update as well. So Debbie?
Well, thank you, Steve. So in the interest of today, I'm not doing a full-blown vocational, but I thought I'd do an education volunteer pathway. I started volunteering when our son was in preschool. During his elementary school years, I was a classroom helper, room mother, reading buddy, apple peeler, and PTA volunteer. I was asked to be on the naming committee for what became Parkside Elementary. In middle school, I was a chaperone on field trips and a math tutor. And then in high school, we went to New York City with the orchestra, and when they played at Carnegie Hall, and I was treasurer for the class graduation party. I was asked to apply for appointment to the District 7 Budget Committee and then for an opening on the school board. I have been grateful for the past 20 years on the board to be a part of a successful, inspiring district. My appreciation and support for education just keeps growing. More opportunities and fewer obstacles for students are the goals of my service. Over the years, funding debates on the state level have been a source of stress and hard decisions. Usually, state income taxes fund about 75% of our spending. Minor crises on the board most often involve board members' children and members being parents. The first time I was chair, son Tom led a group of seniors to a board meeting to protest decreasing the amount of time allocated for lunch. I was grateful that the careful explanation made that yes, it was not the best for students, but that it was the best solution to meet minutes of instruction required by the state was gracefully accepted. Our current controversies are more political, more personal, filled with opinions, beliefs, and fears over loss of control and/or power over children, safety, and what and how they are being taught. Trust is more fragile under pandemic stress. diverse sources of information with different viewpoints and assumptions is the new normal. We have Lake Wobegon students. All are above normal, above average. Now, more than ever, these students are eager for a full school experience. Some are thriving, some need extra help and support, and most are progressing. We have teachers who are passionate about teaching, knowledgeable, full of love and ideas on how to instill hope. We have an administration of caring, thoughtful communicators who have done an incredible job of navigating through rough waters. Award-winning teacher Lois McMillan has been on sabbaticals and special learning and teaching opportunities with other teachers around the nation. She is often asked how we are able to come to consensus on tough issues, solve hard problems, and move forward. I believe respectful relationships, honest and open communications, and common goals and values are the keys to accomplishments, not to mention hard work, dedication, and accountability. I just finished reading The Four Winds, a novel by Kristen Hanna, and in her afterword, she has this quote: "We've gone through bad times before and survived, even thrived. History has shown us the strength and durability of the human spirit. In the end, it is our idealism and our courage and our commitment to one another, what we have in common, that will save us." So that's my short little volunteer education vocational. I'd like to now introduce our superintendent, Kirk Kolb, who has graciously carved out time to talk about the start of this school year.
Thank you, Debbie. What a great introduction. And she is a tremendous board member and representative of this community in so many ways, and sells herself a little short. Her passion for what is best for kids just is amazing, and it's so appreciated by our staff and students. So Dr. Frost was mentioning the potential of future surges. If we could schedule those during the summer, our educators would greatly appreciate that. It's, the last year and a half has been really tough. It has been really hard. We lived out here in Zoom land to almost 100%. We were able to bring kids in on a very limited basis, but this year we have every kid all day, every day. And we are elated for that. The energy, the positivity that is happening every day in our schools is fabulous. Two of my own daughters who just went through this for a year and a half, they're both at Grants Pass High School, are just loving and thriving with school right now. And our teachers are eager to continue to provide that. COVID's been difficult. We got a lot of rules around that, as I'm sure you're aware of. Everybody's masked up. We have to do a visual check-in every day on kids. They literally get checked in at the door. We've had very, very minor number of cases that have affected students and some staff. Those usually result in some level of quarantine required by public health. And so at any given time, we might have 20 to 40 students and or staff out on quarantine. It has interrupted our athletic programs a little bit, but not significant to the point we've had to cancel programs or cancel events. Staffing with the new mandate requirement, just like Dr. Frost was speaking about healthcare workers, I think we're looking at 99% retention of our staff. And which is exceptional. We are thrilled. Operations should still be at 100% for all of our programs. Where we are seeing this shortages everywhere is bus drivers. We're not the only ones. And so we've had to modify some routes a little bit. We haven't had to cancel any. I'm hearing horror stories from Jackson County about them having to cancel routes all over the place due to a lack of bus drivers. So that's opening up under quarantine or under COVID conditions. But what I can tell you is it feels like real school. Just everybody has a mask over their smiles, but you can still see smiles even with masks on. And especially with the little ones, it is just pure joy to walk through the halls and talk to these kids and see kids being kids again. And so we have experienced a slight enrollment drop in the school district since pre-pandemic. Approximately 3 to 5% is where I would say those numbers are. I'm not exact, but it's somewhere in that area. But we're really excited and kind of a focus forward. I want to highlight some new cool things we're doing. Our middle schools have expanded their electives to be CTE or career technical ed type of electives with a lot of hands-on stuff for kids. It ranges from prefabrication, using tools and understanding those kinds of things to back in the day, we called it home economics, but now it's consumer something, and kids are learning to cook and do things around their house and stuff that this generation takes for granted, that we all grew up with as in experience and hands-on learning. We've expanded our career technical ed programs at the high school. We now actually, as part of our manufacturing program, provide forklift certification. So we have a new forklift here at Grants Pass High School, and we can certify our kids in our manufacturing program. Basic caregiver certificates in partnership with Project Youth Plus. That week, kids 17 to 24 can enroll in this 20-hour program and start with a pretty decent job. And there's little signing bonuses here locally for those that are employed through some grant funds. So exciting stuff to get kids out there working and experiencing a life outside of just purely academic world. But we still have the highest number of advanced placement or AP offerings in Southern Oregon as a school district. We award the most dual credit between RCC and SOU of any school district in Southern Oregon. So anyway, we offer everything possible. I'm super proud of our district and the growth we've done. So I think I know your time is precious today. Our focus this year is we got it on t-shirts and everywhere it's reconnecting. It's really reestablishing those personal, in-person, face-to-face relationships. A lot gets lost in Zoom, especially with kindergartners. Some of those kids have never set foot in school, and now they're in first grade. And so it's really amazing and super positive. Our community partnerships still maintain to be very strong. We have a lot of folks locally who are in our schools working with us to support our kids. I think one thing I'm going to share a screen real quick. We started a brand new school here in Grants Pass School District this year. And can I get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay, you got it. GP Flex. So let me, if you go to our website and you tab under schools here, and you go down to GP Flex, you'll land on this page. And about what GP Flex is, the intent is we're the only ones in Southern Oregon going down this path. This is a customized education K through 12. It can be part homeschool. Parents have a say in choosing the curriculum, part in school. So we have elementary kids who come to school for PE and music and maybe orchestra. And they want math there, but they're doing their reading curriculum online or through another approved, the district needs to approve the curriculum to provide flexibility for the parent. And this goes all the way up through grade levels where we have students in middle school coming for electives or academic specific instruction, still participating in extra and co-curricular, doing some of their plans and programs online. And now we're expanding in high school. We are working with RCC to say, what does it look like for a kid to be partly at RCC, partly at Grants Pass High School, partly doing online work? We want to customize the learning experience for the families. So this actually has appealed to a lot of families who used to be homeschooling families, and now they get the best of public school and the best of what they value in homeschooling. So it's really exciting. We have 320 students enrolled to start. We were hopeful to have 100, but we have about 320 right now. The majority of those students are secondary students. Approximately 2/3 are secondary students, being 6 through 12. So super excited about this development. And we said we're gonna be building this plane as it gets off the ground, and I'm super proud of the new administrator we hired, Natasha Savage, to guide this, and with district level support, my director team down here. Very proud of where this is right now and where it's going to go. I do believe it's the future of education model that people will see the value in this new environment that we live in. So I will stop sharing that, and I want to close on one more share to tell you this is what Grants Pass School District is about. So you can see our vision here and our mission. That I won't read all of this, but it tells you our beliefs about students at the core of our work, that staff are of the highest quality and we hire the best. And then community, acknowledging that if without community partnerships, we as a school district cannot do it all, and we need local agencies and public partnerships and private partnerships to provide the most well-rounded education. And it's these 4 pillars at the bottom of this page that really are the 4 main things. If we do all of these really well, we will have exceptional outcomes for every kid. And it's to build a resilient community, and that's the coordination of partnerships, training for staff, and supporting the mental and behavioral health of individuals. Grounding our practices in equity and inclusive practices is ensuring we're using culturally relevant practices and ensuring that we remove barriers. Debbie talked about that, as we remove barriers for all kids so they get 100% access to everything we're able to offer. And then ensuring strong academic outcomes. I got to brag about that a little bit, and ensuring that every student leaves us with a post-secondary plan, whether it's college or whether it's immediately into the workforce, or it's very vocational specific training, that kids leave here with a picture of their future, or at least a pathway that they can begin pursuit. And then the last one, safety is the #1 thing. Kids walk into our school, that our facilities are adequate. If you are not aware, the board was very wise pre-COVID, made a decision to borrow $15 million to ensure all of our buildings have high quality air handling systems. So we have upgraded and brand new HVAC in all of our schools. And the reason this decision of the board, the timing was so critical, it was pre-pandemic. And what we have been able to do is start these projects while all of this federal COVID money came in, and we were allowed to use that money to fund these projects. So in essence, the board is going to save some money on a wise decision. And when I talk to other superintendents who are wanting to upgrade their HVAC, that their scheduling is about 2 years or more out, because of the contractors that they need to do this work are all booked solid. So when our board made the decision, the timing was perfect for our schools to get it done and operational. So we're thrilled about that, safety and quality of our facilities. And then, just maintaining organizational capacity as we change with the times. Debbie talked about funding and being very intentional about being good stewards of this community's dollars. So anyway, I'll end there. I know you have more to do in your meeting, but I would gladly answer any questions should you have any.
I don't see any questions in the chat. On a personal level, Kirk, as many members know, my wife's a first grade teacher at Allendale. And last year, there were many times I came home for dinner and she was absolutely in tears. She was just so frustrated with everything. And this year, she's working hard to get back, and I know all the teachers are, to get back the students to grade level, because definite work to be done there, but their smiles on her face is really magnificent to see about making the difference. Just in the few short weeks they've been there, the progress the kids are making with your leadership and with Debbie's leadership on the school board. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And my wife's, she graduated to third grade this year. She teaches third. It did teach first for a number of years, but the conversations are different in my own home, the positivity about her experiences as a teacher. So yeah, we are off to a tremendous start in spite of the circumstances. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk.
Okay. And thank you, Debbie, for all your work on the school board and also being just such a great club member as a charter member of our club, all that you do for our club to make it great and our community. Thank you. So our next speaker is going to be a polio update. And this is kind of close to home because if you think back, two past members of our club, Raleigh Chin and Ruth McGregor, were both polio survivors. And so polio it's a special place in our club. So Kirk, would you like to introduce our speaker for this afternoon?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. President Steve. When our foundation committee met several weeks ago, we were discussing what we could do for World Polio Day, which is the 24th of this month. And we talked about having different things. And I immediately thought about my good friend, Bob Rogers, past district governor Bob Rogers from my old district. And Bob contacted Bob and he graciously agreed to speak. So a little bit about Bob. He joined the Rotary Club of Sebastopol in 2007 after moving there from South Lake Tahoe. And wasn't long thereafter, as a polio survivor, he joined the District 5130 Polio Plus Committee and was soon giving polio talks throughout the district. He earned his club Rookie Rotarian of the Year and his first year Rotarian of the Year a few years later. He went on to serve as president of his club, an assistant governor, and district governor in 2017, 2018. One event which he's particularly proud of, and I was there when it started, is when the district governor, he and 13 other district Rotarians created and rode a 6-day, 350-mile bike ride from one end of the district, which was Crescent City, to the other end called Pedal for Polio. Clubs along the route greeted them at the end of the day, fed them, then put them up for the night. And bike riders, being good guests, supplied the wine and beer and party atmosphere. All the ride earned $140,000 for polio, thanks to so many generous Rotarians and friends, which became $420,000 after the Gates Foundation 2-for-1 match. Bob's attended 7 Rotary International Conventions, and he's traveled, taking to multiple visits to Mexico for a school project, to Uganda for a global grant project, and to India twice, once for Rotary Friendship Exchange, and recently for a National Immunization Day in New Delhi. He is currently serving as the chair of his district's Polio Plus Committee and as the End Polio Now Zone Coordinator for Zone 27. Bob's retired as an airline pilot from USA Airways 2002, and he claims his second career is Rotary. Okay, Bob, you got it, brother.
Thank you, Kirk. And thank you folks for inviting me to give you an update on polio. But before I do that, I want to show you a video of a National Immunization Day I participated in last January, or January of last year. It was in New Delhi. We as Rotarians, we see the fundraising and the advocating side of this battle, but we rarely get a chance to see the frontline workers side. And I think that this video will give you a glimpse into that. This trip was organized by our own past international director, Brad Howard, who's conducted close to 40 of these NID trips for Rotarians. So let's see if we can get this going here. Can you all see that okay? And hear it? Cool.
There you go. Sorry.
Thank you.
My name is Brad Howard. I professionally am both a tour operator. We take people overseas for purpose, professional groups and associations, and I also have commercial real estate here in the East Bay. In Rotary, I have been involved with it for about 35 years and have been a governor, which is a regional responsibility, and then been a member of the board of directors of Rotary International, the international board. So polio was a disease that was a huge issue in the early 1950s. Towards the end of the 1950s, early 1960s, they found a vaccine. Well, about that time, Rotary, by accident, decided that it was a very localized effort in the Philippines, that they could, if they had enough money, could buy enough vaccines to immunize all their kids. Well, they did it. And so Rotary as an organization said, wow, if all we need to do is get vaccines to kids, we could do that. And so since that time, we have been knocking off all these countries. 125 countries had polio when we started. Right now it's down to 2, Pakistan and Afghanistan. But because Pakistan and Afghanistan have very limited healthcare systems and border controls, it isn't limited to those countries. People are traveling across borders between those 2 countries, and Pakistan's a neighbor with India. When we immunize a child during these national immunization days, we are trying to immunize every single child in that country that are 5 years and younger. And this is what we did on this recent trip. Over a 5-day period, they're trying to immunize more than 100 million children.
Okay. Okay, who's next? Oh, no. Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me? The way you think so. Okay. हाथ मिला रहा है Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think it's a lot.
We don't have a place. One of the parts of the polio eradication effort is one day you go from door to door looking for kids in each house to know that everyone's been immunized.
एक चले जाएंगे स्कूल गए बता छोड़ भाई अरे छोटे छोटे से स्कूल भगा दिए क्या तो सो रहा है लेना है फिर ले सो रहे हैं बेबी नाउ ये बेटा दिया here we go
Shoot, I missed
I really didn't know what to expect coming to India. My wife and I, are both Rotarians, and we came knowing that we were coming for a good cause. And we have definitely fulfilled our mission in that, and seeing lives changed, putting 2 drops of polio vaccination into a small child's mouth, knowing that that child will not suffer the consequences of a debilitating, deathly sickness called polio.
When I first did this trip, or contemplated doing it, I thought to myself, you know, is this really just a self-satisfying thing about going over here? Wouldn't
Yeah,
it
it went well.
On this, coming over here, be better spent if I were to donate it to the Polio Plus campaign. And the Rotarians here put it another way. They said that our coming here is inspiring to them, that we would do that.
But the real difference is, why are we here on Earth? What is our legacy? And watching people take these trips, I think, helps to define that. You can't help but feel, for just random luck, I was born there and got all this good stuff, or that I could have been born here and been needing other people's help. And when you have a chance to see it and believe that you can do something about it, it makes a huge difference. So what's the future of polio? It'll be gone. What will happen next? Well, that's up to the Rotarians, and it will be up to them to decide where their passion is, where their future is, and how they can, through the effort of making friends with others, create lasting change across the globe, in their community, and in themselves.
You know, I've probably watched this video about over 40 times, and I still get emotional every time I watch it, reliving that experience. So as Brad mentioned in the video, we've made tremendous progress since we started this battle in 1988, when there were 350,000 children a year, almost 1,000 per day, contracting wild polio in 125 countries. And now here we are down to just only 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's quite an accomplishment. As you all probably know, there were 3 types of the wild polio virus, labeled types 1, 2, and 3 naturally. And I say were because type 2 was declared eradicated in 2015, and type 3 was declared eradicated in 2019. That leaves us only type 1 still out there in the environment. This chart here shows the number of cases of wild polio since 2013, and the great progress we made up until 2019, where unfortunately cases rose from 33 all the way up to 176, and then last year, a little bit less, 140. Last year at this date, there were 120 cases of the wild polio virus. This year, drum roll, please. 2 cases, only 2 cases of the wild polio virus total year to date. Unbelievable. We have never been in such a great spot right now. But clearly, you know, there was a huge concern, wasn't there, about what happened, why the big increase the last 2 years compared to 2018. And some of it was due to lack of access because of conflict. And although the governments of Pakistan and Afghanistan at the time were supporting us, there are still political and religious factions out there opposed to a vaccination. Some of them thinking that we were trying to sterilize their children with these drops. And in April of 2019, a fake video appeared on social media in Pakistan, claiming that the children were being vaccinated with expired vaccines and showed children writhing in pain as a result of that. Then all of a sudden, one of the children stops writhing, sits up, looks at the camera, smiles, and waves. So clearly staged. Nevertheless, the video did its job, and the narrative urged parents to take their children to local hospitals and health clinics, and it just was mass chaos. Even one health clinic was burned down during that time. Bottom line, they had to suspend the NID program, and that means 2 million children did not get vaccinated. And also 2 security workers and 2 polio workers were killed a month before. So in addition, the Taliban at this time in Afghanistan were forbidding any house-to-house vaccinations taking place in areas that they control because they were fearing the vaccinators might be passing on intelligence to US forces for drone strikes on Taliban leaders. This chart here shows the month by month to help us better understand what happened with that period of time. And if you look at the uptick with my mouse here, you can see the uptick in April. March, there were no cases, and the uptick in April coincided with the fake video. And then you can see the numbers increased all the way to the end of the year, and then they started decreasing. Now, I'm just making a supposition here, but I'm guessing that the news cycles we have here in the US, you know, something big makes the headlines and even affects the outcome, whether it's COVID-19, fake political news or whatever. And then as another story takes command of the news cycle, that people tend to forget about the other one and they concentrate on the new one. And I'm guessing that may be what happened here. Parents sort of forgot about it and started vaccinating their children again. And there's no scientific study to back me on this, just my gut feeling. And as 2020 progressed, you can see, like I mentioned, started dropping down all the way down to 0 in December. And I further speculate that part of this reduction could be also due to less traveling during the pandemic. Not something I can prove, but you get the picture. You know, you may have noticed that I referred to the polio virus as the wild polio virus. While we can celebrate the lack of new cases of wild polio, we must remember we still have another battlefront to contend with before we can declare the job done. The circulating vaccine-derived polio type 2, referred to as CVDP2. They have a lot of acronyms in this. In rare instances, the original Sabin oral vaccine, which is what we're using now, uses a live attenuated or a weakened virus, and that in rare instances can mutate back to full strength in the environment, statistically speaking, 1 in every 2.3 million doses, and can cause paralysis in a child. This occurs especially in under-immunized communities that are downstream from a well-immunized community where contaminated water from sewage or fecal matter can infect the unprotected children downstream. But now for some good news. There is a new novel oral polio vaccine. They refer to it as NOPV2, which has been in development for over 10 years. It's completed the stage 3 clinical trials last year, and they received their emergency use listing last November 13th. Sort of like, you know, the COVID-19 has been getting emergency use listing. Same thing happens here. like the original Sabin vaccine, it uses a live attenuated or weakened virus. But unlike the Sabin vaccine, it has been genetically engineered to be more stable, less likely to mutate back to full strength. This means it can help address the circulating vaccine-derived polio outbreaks more sustainably. This, in my opinion, is a game changer. 7 countries in Central Africa, where most of these outbreaks are occurring, are already using it. Benin, Congo, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Tajikistan have delivered over 70 million doses with no known after effects to date. And there's another 33 countries that are high risk that are currently in the qualification pipeline to start using this new vaccine. The principal advocate and provider of 100% of the funds for this project was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Currently this year, we have 308 cases of the vaccine-derived polio since January 1st. This compares to 392 last year. 308 this year, 392 last year. So we are making progress. And I see that as this new novel vaccine rolls out, we will certainly help lower that number even more. So now, GPEI, what is it? This is a quick refresher. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative, or is referred to GPEI, was formed by Rotary and the World Health Organization back in 1988. GPEI is a controlling agency behind the fight against polio, and it's made up of 6 organizations. Of course, Rotary and World Health Organization, CDC, or Center for Disease Control, United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation joined us in 2007. And then last year, Gavi joined us, a Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. And now for some more exciting news. GPEI recently rolled out their new in-game strategy for 2022 to 2026. Now, development of this strategy began last July. And in addition to the 6 GPEI partners, it was led by a multi-partner working group of 71 organizations, including those with epidemiological, technical, managerial, and operational expertise, as well as the national governments of affected countries. This external engagement is the most extensive to date of any GPEI strategy. And they just completed this last March, and they just published the executive summary. It's long but interesting reading. Now, if you're interested in getting a copy of this, you would go to GPEI's website, and it's pretty easy to remember, polioeradication.org. Up there at the top, polioeradication.org. Hover your mouse over who we are in the left-hand side, and that will highlight GPEI strategy 2022 to 2026. Next, hunker down next to your heater or air conditioner, depending on the weather, with a hot toddy or a cool beverage some evening, and pour over this document. You know, a lot of folks have asked after 35 years, why should we continue to support Polio Plus? Isn't 99.9% good enough? Can't we go after another disease or parasite? Well, I have an answer for them. No, because we haven't finished the job yet, huh? Yeah, it's true that this has taken much longer than anyone ever anticipated. RI President-elect Jennifer Jones said, if we knew it was going to take us this long, we probably wouldn't have started it in the first place. But we did. And if we quit now, all that work will be for naught. To have come this far and created this unique opportunity to eliminate this disease from the face of the earth, and then quit and let polio reinfect the world? Not an option. I don't even want to think about that. You know, we've already saved an estimated 19 million children from paralysis and 1.5 million from death. And we've already made a huge difference, and we got to continue the fight until we've won. Problem's not science, is it? We've already proven that it can be done. The problem is political and social, and that can be overcome with perseverance and tenacity. And believe me, Rotarians have plenty of both, don't we? And as a matter of fact, just before the fall of the old Afghan regime, about a month ago now, through the magic of Rotary, we had been negotiating with the Taliban to allow vaccinations to take place in mosques. They banned them house to house. but they approved us doing it in mosques. And here's another exciting fact. Since the Taliban takeover, there has been at least one immunization day that I'm aware of that took place, and the security guards for that vaccination team were the Taliban. So, of course, we must continue because we are also painfully aware that if we don't, polio is only a plane ride away. You know, any virus, whether it's measles like a couple years ago, COVID like is happening right now in our world, or God forbid, full polio in the future. As long as one child anywhere in the world has the polio virus, children everywhere in the world are in danger of contracting it. You know, it's estimated if we stop vaccinating now, in 10 years, there will be 200,000 new cases of polio. And the financial costs, of course, will be astronomical. And speaking of costs, fighting polio is not cheap. Last year's budget was $961 million, almost $1 billion to vaccinate 400 million children. They keep getting born every year when we've got to vaccinate them. You know, and as outlined in the GPI new strategy, we have to continue to raise funds to beat this disease for another 5 years. And towards that end, as you all know, each year Rotarians are asked to raise $50 million to take advantage of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 2-for-1 match. Meeting that challenge means we received an extra $100 million from their foundation if we raise $50 million. So it becomes $150 million. So we can finish the promise we made to the children of the world over 30 years ago, a world free of the polio virus. Now, towards that effort, last year, the 30 districts in zone 26 and 27, of which you are one of those districts, adopted a program called the Polio Plus Society, which asks Rotarians to make a commitment to donate a minimum of $100 per year, every year, to our World Polio Fund, and to continue until the world is declared polio free by the World Health Organization. And like I said, hopefully that's going to be in 2026. Now, I have to admit something. You know, we didn't actually invent this program. We sort of borrowed it from your district. That's right. Rotarian Harriet Scholler, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, of Bend High Desert Rotary, along with the PDG Del Gray, who's PDG then, from Roseburg Rotary. They started the Polio Plus Society back in 2012 in an effort to increase sustainable giving. And being good Rotarians that we are, we believe in Rotary R&D. You know what that stands for? Rip off and duplicate. Why reinvent the wheel? As long as it's going for the same cause, we heartily endorse adopting programs from other clubs and districts. So as you folks are probably aware of, society members will receive a pin like the one on the screen now, depicting a child receiving those 2 magic drops. They'll also receive an End Polio Now wristband like I'm wearing, and that's staying here until we're done, and a certificate proclaiming them a member of the Polio Plus Society. Of course, they also receive recognition points towards their Paul Harris or the Paul Harris Plus status. Now, as a matter of fact, your district is #1 in a number of people in the Polio Plus Society, because you already have 745 Rotarians, some of which have been doing it for years. But with over 2,900 Rotarians in your district, there's still plenty of room for growth. And for those of you who have not joined yet, we hope you'll consider being a part of this worthwhile cause. I did ask Kirk to send you all a copy of the form to join the Polio Plus Society, and it should be in your inbox right now. Why not fill it out while it's on your mind? You know, a lot, as Rotarians, a lot of what we do involves our youth and the following generations and the future inhabitants of our planet. And I can't think of any other work that we do for the next generations that's more important than our work on eliminating polio from the face of the earth. I want to thank you for this opportunity to update you on our fight against this disease. I hope I've convinced you of the importance of our continuing role in this battle and in joining the Polio Plus Society. Thank you. And if there's any time left, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Kirk, for making this happen. Appreciate all that you do to share this. I've been to India 5 times, to Hyderabad, and those pictures brought back I went with Seattle Pacific University, and those pictures brought back great memories of the trips there.
Wow, 5 times. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Good for you.
very much enjoyed it. Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate all of our speakers today. We had kind of a 3-in-1 presentation today. So we had a lot accomplished and got it all done. We're actually not even that far behind in our meeting. So thank you. As far as our birthdays and anniversaries, we have quite a few for birthdays. Ellie McCoy, October 7th. Today, happy birthday, Ellie. Cindy Grandal is tomorrow, and Lisa Looney is October 10th. And for anniversaries, Janie Dool has 9 years, James Dunn, 6 years, Kathy Holmbeck, 13 years, Wynn Howard, 9 years, Luz Kramer, 6 years, Delynn Sharpett, 18 years, and Grant Walker, 7 years. Those are all our anniversaries this particular week of Rotary. So a lot going on that way. Okay. Does anybody else have anything before we go to Sergeant at Arms? And Happy Bucks. Okay. So Tommy, would you like to take us on Happy Bucks time and Sergeant at Arms?
I would. And, you know, one of the things, I've been a Polio Plus member since Dell announced and Harriet announced at, I guess we were in Florence at some conference, one of the Rotary conferences. And it was really great. My pin is red. It's not blue like that one though. So I think it's great. I'd love to see everybody join Polio Plus. And if you're a member, maybe you could donate $5 this time and make it great. So the other thing that I wanted to donate $5 for is a great day yesterday. It was just wonderful. It went so well at the barbecue, and Steve was there. You know, Doug was the hero of the day. He ran around and made sure everything was going well. So if you missed it, sorry, you missed a lot of fun. So does anybody have a Happy Buck?
I'll just chime in. I'm Jim Lucier again from Bend. I'm a charter member of Polio Plus as well. I've been giving them $500 every year since it started. And my 51st anniversary is this month. So I'll give a bunch of money to the clubs in Central Oregon.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Jim, did I pronounce Harriet's last name correctly?
You did.
Pretty close.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Thank you.
Bev?
I wanted to give $5 Happy Bucks for each time all our presenters made me cry. So I'm going to donate $20 there every time a child is helped with all our presenters today. It just makes my heart happy. So thank you.
You're making me tear up.
Thank you, Bev. Lisa?
Well, this Sunday is not only my birthday, but it's also our 51st anniversary. So I'll throw in 51 Happy Bucks for
Thank you.
polio.
Patty Hansen?
Yes, I'd like to donate $10 in Happy Bucks for the Porch Fest fundraiser, the wristband raffle. I've got $5,000 already, and I think we might meet our $10,000 goal. So thanks to everyone.
That's great. Thanks so much. Anyone else? Oh, Steve, you're up.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to put in $67 today just because each club member has made such a difference in our club. When I saw what happened, you know, as you talked about the barbecue and just everything that's going on in our club, I appreciate so much the energy that's going on. And it shows the power of each person making a difference. And one of the things I want to kind of research is how many Polio Plus Society members our club now has. I know I'm a member too as well, but I got to figure that out as far as see how many we can have. I'll put it next to eNavigator.
There must be something somewhere that would tell us that.
I
have that data. I'm trying to dig it up now. I want to say that we're around 14, but we may have a few more now. So I'll let you know as soon as I get a confirmed number.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Patty Toronto.
Hi there. Well, I'm going to save $1. I'm going to donate $71. Next week, I'll be 72. So I have to do it this week while I'm still 71. Okay. But there's my happy bucks, or put them wherever they need to go. I don't care. How do I give you the money?
Oh, there's a PayPal link in chat, in the chat box.
I don't do PayPal.
Okay, then why don't you send a check to Jan Jones? She'll be happy to take your money.
Super. Get that done.
Send that to
Okay.
Laurel Sampson. Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, to Laurel? You wanted to go to Laurel? Sorry, wrong treasurer.
Yeah. Mhm.
So did you get that, Patty? Send it to Laurel Sampson.
I'm going to make out a check to Rotary and send it to Laurel.
Yes. Yes.
And Gina, you can get information from Nelson Mailer on the number of Polio Plus Society members you have.
Yeah, I actually have it already. It's on our DAC.
Oh, okay, great.
Page. I'm just trying to log in.
Okay, and now Kirk is up.
Yeah, I'd like to donate 10 happy bucks. I was real pleased being out with the barbecue yesterday. First time I think I really socialized with this number of Rotarians since I joined the club because of COVID. So it was an outstanding event, well organized and well accepted by the staff there at Asani. So I really enjoyed that. So 10 happy bucks for that.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing our speaker today. That was fabulous.
My pleasure.
Anyone else? Well, Steve, it's back to you.
Okay. Well, so I thought I would, two thoughts, because we have two programs. The first one's on education. This is one from Steve Kagan. If we get public education right, everything else will follow. But if we get it wrong, nothing else will matter. A lot of truth to that one. And the second one is on polio. For those who spent years, this is from Bill Gates, for those who spent years fighting the disease there, it was frustrating. But Rotarians who traveled to Ethiopia stuck by a motto: never, never, never give up. So long as Rotarians continue to believe that, so long as we never give up, then polio does not stand a chance. I thought that was both very appropriate thoughts. And with that, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Okay, and we're going to stay on the meeting for those board members. Anybody's welcome to stay on for the board meeting. It shouldn't be a long board meeting. We'll have a chat session afterwards if anybody's interested. But if board members officially could stay on for a few more minutes to approve a few quick action items that are time sensitive, I would appreciate it. Thanks for the great program today, and hope everybody has a great week.
Thanks for letting me join you, Steve. Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Good to see you again, Jim. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
And thank you for the opportunity to give you folks an update on polio.
Thanks again, Bob.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bob.
Say hi to everyone down D5130 for me.
I will, Kirk. I will.
All right, I gotta go.
Okay. So we have some board items to take care of, and there's actually 3 items, and I'm gonna, let's see, pull this up real quick. And, well, that's almost right, I did it in email. Different places. I'll try to be organized. Rotary board meeting. Okay, we actually have 3 items, and if there's other items, we can gladly add those on there. So the first one is, I had a request through Doug Walker from the Grants Pass Sobering Center, and they're writing a grant to the All Care Foundation, and they would like to get a letter of support from our club. And I would not mind writing the letter at all but I really would like to get a approval of the board to write a letter of support for the Sobering Center. The Sobering Center is our neighbor, kind of at the between the Gospel Rescue Mission and Foundry Village. And they've been I know speaking from Asante's perspective, they have been a marvelous help in the Sobering Center, as well as Grants Pass Public Safety in using mental health and a place for people to